Let's get into it. Exciting news on the podcast. Tomorrow I will be interviewing Jimmy Dore. We've set it up. He's agreed. We have everything in motion. So hopefully nothing comes up and I get to do that interview. I'll be doing it about 2 p.m. EST, and I'm hoping to get it posted by 6 p.m. EST. That's 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm going to be doing that. Really big day, great day. And in the spirit of that, I'm taking a clip from the Patrick Bet-David podcast where Jimmy Dore is talking about the only thing that will save this country. And Jimmy Dore, when he gets going, he spits heat, absolute truth. And when it happens, everybody, even a multi-millionaire like Patrick Bet-David, just sits back and learns. So let's get into that really quick. I'm still tripping out that I'm going to interview Jimmy Dore. Big day. Let's get right into the clip, though.
Reeducation. The former president has been indicted. I think he's facing 91 charges. It's going to put him in jail for hundreds of years if he's convicted. They're trying to seize his assets and his property and destroy him. The Capitol Police are setting up offices around the country. They've raided the homes of even innocent people on accident. We're seeing the FBI now label Trump's followers as extremists to be targeted. And my question is, when you see these things happening, plus the indictment of lawyers for the former president, the sanctioning, I don't know how many people know this, many of the lawyers that were hired by Donald Trump and his inner circle in 2020 to argue on his behalf over the 2020 election, they've been sanctioned to the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars for simply providing a constitutionally, in my opinion, required legal service. What comes next? They're calling Trump supporters, Trump's followers, terrorists and extremists. She's going on TV saying they're a cult that must be reprogrammed. They're arresting lawyers. Mike Cernovich tweeted recently, perhaps hyperbolically, perhaps a little bit aggressive, that in the coming year, if Biden wins, something to the effect of he will be framed by the regime for a crime that they will use just to justify killing him. And then you had, of course, Scott Adams several years ago who said it's very likely that the next year you will be dead. Well, we're all still alive, but some people didn't make it. Crime is getting bad. And so I'm wondering if Scott Adams and Mike Cernovich are seeing something legitimate. Maybe their statements are a little aggressive, but my view is Hillary Clinton adding to the conversation, we need to re-educate these people. The FBI report, I'm curious what you guys think happens next, considering all this.
Well, I heard there's a split inside the military and the CIA, right? So there's General Flynn and who they've tried to make him out to be a criminal. They framed him to get him to go along. So this is what they're doing. So I hope that there's a big faction of the military or some big faction of the CIA that doesn't want to go along with what's happening. I've heard that. I don't have any direct information, but I've heard people say that I trust, but I don't know. I don't have any evidence of it.
Wait, real quick. Everyone makes the meme about me saying Civil War, but I had not heard about the military having a potential split.
No, I'm just saying that they back Trump and they
right.
see what the game that is being played. Hey, this is exactly what they said. What Trump made Trump a fascist was that he criminalizes his political opponents. That's exactly what they're doing. Of course, just like Hillary Clinton, that's all just like what they're saying is happening in Ukraine. The exact opposite is the truth. Whatever you're hearing on the corporate news, the exact opposite is the truth. So, so I don't know. So I hope this is true. What I'm hearing, I hope the reason why Trump is running is to try to run against the CIA and this military-industrial complex. I hope that's what's happening because that's what we need to have happen. And we live in a banana republic right now. They're really doing it. It does, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're Trump. It doesn't matter if you're MAGA. It doesn't matter if you're ultra-lefty. They are also doing it to black socialists. They're also doing it to Stop Cop City. Barack Obama in 2011 signed the NDAA Section 1021, which got rid of habeas corpus. So that means that they can throw you in jail and they don't have to charge you with the crime. All they have to do is say you're a terrorist. Well, if you go out and protest, they're going to say you're an economic terrorist. Or if you protest an oil well, they're going to say you're an environmental terrorist. So all you do is say you're a terrorist, they throw you in jail, and that's that. And look what they're doing to Julian Assange, still right out in the open. And so that's why none of the journalists ever tell the truth about Ukraine. That's why they never tell the truth about what's going on, because they know what's going to happen to them if they actually put a hurt on the establishment, which is why we have horrible journalism in America, which is why shows like this are popular, shows like Tim and mine, Joe Rogan, Rusty Rockets. That's why these shows, and Tucker Carlson's killing it. Why? Because, and Tucker Carlson got fired. People do, he didn't get fired for lying. That's he got fired because he started telling the truth about foreign policy, economic policy, and the big pharma. And as soon as he did that, he became persona non grata, and they had to get rid of him. He got fired for telling the truth, not for lying, and that's what happens. And that's what they did to Julian Assange. That's what they did to Edward Snowden. So and that's why they have such control on us on YouTube, and we have to answer to billionaires because that's who runs everything. And people think we live in a democracy. It's a joke that they think we're living in a democracy. We live in an authoritarian nightmare, and now we're in a surveillance state where we're operating on a liberty view from around the 1100s. You know, the habeas corpus was in the Magna Carta. They got rid of that. So now we're operating on a liberty view from around the 1100s, and people don't even realize it or care because people are too busy trying to make a living. And while they, instead of them helping those people, they're taking that money, sending it to the military-industrial complex via Ukraine. It's a crazy world we're living in, and I wonder when the real revolution's going to start, because the truckers let the template for that. So what the truckers did was they shut down capitalism, and they put a hurt on them, so they immediately called them white supremacists, Nazis, as they're literally funding Nazis themselves, and they are in bed with Nazis. So if somebody in America comes up with a plan on how to do that, and if it comes like from a Christian Smalls who knows how to bring left and right people together and oppose the establishment like he did on Staten Island with Amazon. So if the truckers get together with a union leader like that, and they can start making demands and hook up with like a Matt Gaetz inside of Congress, that's when a real revolution can happen. That's the only thing that's going to save this country at this point.
And Tim, can I ask you one question, Tim? Off the FBI creating the MAGA extremist category for Trump extremists, what's their criteria to find out and label you and put you in that group? Like, what's the FBI going to monitor? Like, if you have the flag on your truck, are they going to come after you? Because, Jimmy, you nailed it. On January 6th, the chief of Capitol Police, Stephen Sun, told everybody. They wouldn't let him testify. He was like, I was begging for help. They didn't give me shit. I wanted the National Guard. Just like you said, FBI, Ray Epps, everybody getting. They caused all this thing, and now they're warning us. I think because they know something is going to happen for this election. Now they're going to go after anybody that has any type of say. But I want to know, what do you think is going to be their trigger to go after you? Like what? If you just say, hey, I like Trump, they're going to monitor your ass?
Sounds like it. I refer to things like this.
There you go. I mean, a little more than just Jimmy Dore here. I mean, there's a lot of opinions in this podcast. There's like 5 people on it. But what Jimmy Dore was saying makes a lot of sense. There is some kind of revolution that needs to happen. And I like that he referred to the truckers because the truckers went about it nonviolent. There was zero violence on the truckers' part. Even when they interacted with the authorities, they were non-violent, and there was some acts of violence that actually happened to them. A couple of people, I think, got, I don't want to say stomped by horses, but had encounters with horses, got knocked down. But what kind of revolution actually does need to happen? Now, he was talking about, union leaders getting together, and I think it has to be something like that, something like the truckers, something like union leaders and hooking up with someone in Congress. I think it doesn't even have to just be union leaders. I think it has to be the people have to, whatever is in front of us that's keeping us from interacting with senators. Like the people, the masses should have more interaction with the people who are senators and Congress. There should be much more interaction. I'm almost about to say, like, to the point where there should be a few dozen representatives for the people inside of Congress while they're doing all their stuff. Like something of that, like somebody who's representing, I don't want to say districts because I don't want to get into that type of language, but someone who's gotten a bunch of people who have gotten the opinions from their groups, from their demographics, from their towns, from their communities, and they're all there and they're speaking, because it's really unclear what type of, everybody can feel that there's some kind of revolution coming. Everyone can feel it. It's either that there's some kind of revolution coming or we're all going to have barcodes on our foreheads. One of the two is coming right now. And a lot of people feel like, we call it the Great Reset and the Great Awakening. A lot of people, including myself, feel like the Great Awakening's coming. But I would hate to see it come through any means of violence at all. I would love to see it come through some other way. But it's like, what type of revolution has to actually take place for these things? Jimmy Dore just said so much. He said so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to be asking him about this exact thing. What kind of revolution needs to happen for us to see the change that's really needed? Because I can't see a way. The only way, really, and I've been saying this for years, is that if black people, the black community and the white community were like, there is no more divide between us and we're all coming together, it would be done. A lot of people can't tell. Well, some people can't tell. Those are the two most powerful races in North America, perhaps even the world. But in America, they're the most powerful. Coming together, there's nothing they couldn't get done from the lowest community level to the highest levels of government if they just came together and decided like everything is set aside. Everything, every single prejudice, preconceived notion, all of it's set aside. We are coming together. Now I'm talking about guys who have Confederate flag tattoos and guys who are just straight up BLM peaceful protesters just coming together and being like, we got to work together. We right now have to be one community, and we have to stick together, and we have to have each other's back, and there can be nothing that tears us apart. Not one act of violence that's seen on TV and pushed on us through mainstream television, not something that's in a Twitter feed, no clips, nothing can come in between us. We have to stick together. If that could happen, I think that would be the true revolution, because right now those are the two most downtrodden people. The black man has been demonized for a very long time, and now the white man is being demonized just as much. And yeah, maybe they don't go through Jim Crow and this, that, but you're seeing people who are openly racist towards white people, the same way they used to be openly racist towards black people. If they could just start seeing that they're going through the exact same thing, and it's not society that's doing it to them, that it's by design. It's a design that's being pushed on them. When somebody's seen as too powerful, there's an entity, an elite force of some kind that says, you know what? We got to knock these guys down a peg. And I think for the longest time, it's been, for years now, at least 10 years, it's been white men who are ranging from 25 to 60 years old. They're taught to just dumb down their masculinity, dumb down the power they have. They should be ashamed of the power they have. They should be ashamed of the things they've done. They should be ashamed of the fact that they're men altogether. Like this, it's out of control. It's really out of control. They're being pushed. And this is all men being pushed towards a lot of feminine traits, feminine displays, feminine thinking. I think like if those guys, if those two races, obviously I'm a part of that race. Some would say I'm even both put together from the way I look and the way I sound. Little bit white, not much though. Little bit white. Yeah, if they could just come together, I think that would be it. But I wonder, and I would love for you guys to answer what you think the revolution should be. Let me challenge you. Okay? Because it's fun to just say whatever you want. What is a non-violent revolution that could take place? How could it take place? Because that's the exercise. Jordan Peterson talks a lot about how younger men, eventually, they get to a place where they just want to flip the table over because, yeah, it will cause a bunch of destruction, but at least we have a chance of getting into better position once it all settles and we reconstruct. But I want to know what can be done that's nonviolent. What can be done that, I don't want to say works with the government, but something maybe that doesn't, again, just violence. You know what I mean? We've already seen that. BLM already tried that. BLM already tried, well, let's just see what happens when we burn down a few cities. And all it did was all it did was divide people even more. You know what I mean? So that can't be the way to do it. I don't know. I think we're way further from a civil war than people care to think. I think a lot of people think we're real close, and I really don't think so. Because a civil war would be two sides fighting. And maybe it's just my own mindset, but I realize that there's not two, like what, regular people from the left and the right fighting? Why would you fight for that party? Those elite people who are going to be in bunkers, just letting it all happen. Why would you do that? I couldn't imagine either side having the mindset to go and do that. Why would you do that? Again, they'll be in bunkers. We already saw J6, what happened? They were all in bunkers. They were all in undisclosed locations, underground, this, that, and they were just like, let's just watch on TV. Come on. You don't want to be the basis for some elite person's TV watching. You know what I mean? You want to be somebody who actually gets to be a part of, part 2 of the greatest generation ever. That generation that actually changes things. But let me know in the comments. What do you think? What do you think about that? And again, you know what? I will say, if you've watched until this point, you deserve this. If anybody has a question for Jimmy Dore, let me know. I have a bunch of questions and I have very, very limited time. So I am going to, maybe I'll try and get one question from the audience. But other than that, like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. And again, let me know in the comments, nonviolent revolution strategies. How could it be done? And other than that, I'm out.